look, I'm incredibly grateful for women. Without women, I never would have like gained the momentum I did on social media. I'm so grateful for that. But in doing that, a lot of dudes didn't like that, I suppose. So it put off a lot of guys without them ever even taking a chance to watch my comedy.
I think Matt Rife knows he has a bit of a problem on his hands. He's been on a few podcasts where he's complained about his fan base being mostly women, which is kind of weird because it feels like he spent the last few months pandering to his female audience. Maybe that's being harsh, but check out the poster for his tour. If my wife sent this to me and said, hey, should we get tickets? And I open up the webpage and there's Matt Rife with his shirt off. Like, why the hell would I want to see that? Of course, I'm going to jump to conclusions and assume it's a show geared towards females. This is the same reason I wasn't interested in watching Magic Mike. But then his special comes out and wow, suddenly there's a lot of complaining on TikTok because his opening joke makes light of domestic violence. This, of course, upsets a chunk of his mostly female fan base.
Do you not like the thought, and I'm guessing by what you're saying, that you have like a female base, you want it to be equal, or like
I'd love for it to be equal. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm incredibly grateful for women. Without women, I never would have like gained the momentum I did on social media. I'm so grateful for that. But in doing that, a lot of dudes didn't like that, I suppose. So it put off a lot of guys without them ever even taking a chance to watch my comedy. Which is what I'm so excited about with this special upcoming is it's like I finally get to do an hour on a verified platform that people respect and can be like, okay, let's give him a chance. Even if we hate him because certain people like him, let's give him a chance, hopefully.
He says he's super grateful for all of his fans. He just wishes it was a more balanced ratio. But there's a disconnect for me. He knew he had mostly female fans and he lent into that image to sell out shows. So to hear him whine about having mostly females coming to his shows for the wrong reasons, as if he's totally caught off guard and is like, wow, turns out people are going to think I'm catering to females. That whole thing to me didn't feel genuine. He was obviously aware from the beginning that he was growing mostly a female audience. At the end of the day, he tried to highlight his attributes to sell out shows. It's not a bad idea to play to your crowd, which at least at the time was 90% females. I know there's a lot of people out there now who are thinking, oh yeah, because of that opening joke, he's for the guys. Well, okay, but he still has to be funny. Something you'll notice about that black eye joke, as he says, the hostess at the restaurant had a black eye. People laughed at that.
The hostess who like seats you at the restaurant had a black eye.
They seemed to be laughing after the end of each sentence, whether it was a joke or not. No lie, he took a swig of water and he got cheers for it. Every few seconds you'll hear girls cheering. But hey, two things can be true, right? Some women can think he's hot, but also be a fan of his comedy. After watching the special, I will say it was better than I expected because I really wasn't expecting much. He's a decent joke writer. He's a little too animated for my liking. I don't think he's naturally a funny person, but he's not terrible, especially considering his age. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is pretty brutal, but I think if some people were offended by the first joke, I doubt they sat and watched the full special. I saw some comments that said, they sat through 10 or 15 minutes, and to be fair, the first 20 minutes were pretty bad, but there was some decent stuff towards the end. Now, the whole cancel thing to me felt forced from the beginning. There were a lot of headlines out there saying he was cancelled, but we all know by now that if a comic supposedly gets cancelled for a joke, it has the unintentional effect of driving more traffic to their content. It's promotion. He hasn't been dropped by anything. Nothing happened apart from a few feminists online losing their minds about his opening joke.
One time I ate lunch there and the hostess who like seats you at the restaurant had a black eye. A full black eye. And it wasn't like, what happened? Yeah, it was pretty obvious what happened. And we couldn't get over the fact that we're like, this is the face of the company? Like, this is who you have greeting people? And my boy who I was with was like, yeah, I feel bad for her, man. I feel like they should put her in the kitchen or something where nobody has to see her face, And I was like, yeah, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye.
It's a shame he opened with that one, not because some people found it offensive, but because it just wasn't that funny. It's like something from the 1950s. If she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye. It's a pretty old school concept, but I gotta admit, the response to the backlash with the apology linking to the special needs helmet, that was funny. A lot of people recognized what he was doing here. The intention was to weed out the non-comedy fans. If you look at some of the clips on TikTok where people are complaining about how offensive that joke was.
Is that what he means by he made this for men? You want to make fun of domestic violence with men. Like, all of these jokes are dependent on other people's oppression and nuance and things that you don't really need to be touching. Talk about something funny from your own life.
Jesus, no comic is gonna want that as a fan. The minute he had anything that smelled like a scandal, those fans would be the first to turn on him. So I guess for that reason, the situation is a win. He got the shock value, which created the backlash, then hilariously doubled down on it, which all brought more promotion to his special. But that wasn't the only intention. I think his second intention was to change his image and get more respect as a comic. I think the idea of him being the good-looking comic for the ladies feels hacky to not only a lot of male comedy fans, but I think some of his peers feel that way too. Although he deserves respect for what he's achieved, still I think that perception obviously bothers him.
There's always been some kind of, I guess, resentment, whatever, because if I wasn't successful, I was young.
But
if I wasn't young, I was decent looking. Regardless of the situation, and no matter how secure you are with yourself, doesn't feel good to know that many people don't fucking like you.
Of course. But it's also like, you know, like you're literally living your dream.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like you can't let someone's bitterness or negativity suck that joy out of you.
And it's almost always dudes.
Of course.
Which just tells me, like, it's like, okay, what are you actually mad about?
Well,
are you mad that I'm having success, or are you mad the way that I look the way I do?
It's everything.
Like, how much pussy do you not get?
A lot.
For me just trying to make you laugh
Yeah.
upsets you.
So I'm calling bullshit, because if you're going to these shows and you're hearing women be like, oh, he's so attractive, beautiful girl you've had as your girlfriend, you know you're attractive. I'm not saying you have to be like, you know, these guys, but you have to have confidence.
Okay,
your
all right,
girlfriend
so
would date
that's
you if
actually
you weren't
that's actually a perfect setup. Because okay, so then what do I do then? Say everybody thinks I'm attractive. Let's throw that out there as a totally hypothetical. Obviously not true, but as a hypothetical. Say everybody thinks I'm attractive, right? Then I reference it and I'm the asshole. It's like, which one is it? It's like, am I not attractive, or do I only have a career because of my looks? Which one is it?
He seems like a nice guy, so on the one hand, I feel bad for him. You know, there were a lot of assumptions that his comedy is garbage, but because the Netflix joke was so bad, my initial thought was, okay, his jokes aren't geared towards females, but they're still garbage. He may have weeded out some non-comedy fans, but I think what he's left with are still mostly non-comedy fans. If you watch the special, it's a lot of girls cheering at everything he says throughout the show. They're straight up Matt Rife fans. But who cares, he's still making tons of money. I just don't think this special will get him the respect that he's craving. And I'm not sure he gained the demographic that he wanted. I think now he has a bunch of loyal fans that will go to his shows, scream and cheer after every punchline, whether it's good or not. But what do you guys think? Did he try too hard? Am I being too harsh? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit the like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.